begin, sir. It is known to all that teamwork makes a dream work. A very pleasant evening to one and all present here. It's my pleasure to welcome you, dear parents, to the orientation program for grade 11 for the academic year 2023-24. This evening, we have gathered on this online platform to speak about teamwork at ISWK. The benevolent school management committee members who believe in giving the best to the student community, principal, vice principal, staff, and you, dear parents, will work hand in hand this year to make our dream work, which is to see our dear students scaling greater heights. I take this opportunity to welcome our principal, Mr. D.N. Rao, Vice Principal, Mr. Jayaprakash Pillai, heads of various departments, coordinators, staff, parents, and our dear students of grade 11. First off, hearty congratulations to you students for successfully completing the board examination of grade 10 in spite of all the challenges. Team ISWK wishes you the very best for the results. A big thank you, dear parents, for always being with your wards and for supporting us in all our endeavors. We believe in having a robust partnership with you to ensure that our children achieve their highest potential, for which a variety of platforms is provided by the school. Team ISWK stands tall in making incremental modifications to achieve phenomenal results in scholastic and post-scholastic domains, ensuring to scaffold our students' learning graph at every step. We provide an array of age-appropriate, enterprising, and innovative activities which are aligned with the guidelines laid down by Central Board of Secondary Education to channelize the learning of the young minds. So, without further ado, allow me to invite Mr. Jayaprakash Pillai, our very passionate Vice Principal, who goes beyond the call of duty to guide the teachers and mentor the students towards achieving a creative, holistic, and futuristic education program. He shall walk you through the school policies and ideologies, discipline procedure, teaching methodologies, CBSE guidelines, assessment patterns, and the new initiatives undertaken by the school. We also request you, dear parents, to type your questions, if any, in the Q&A. Over to you, JP sir.
Thank you, Roshni ma'am. Respected principal sir, and my dear colleagues, dear parents, and dear students. Once again, welcome you to the parent orientation program. This is exclusively meant for class 11 students and parents. Class 11 and 12, we usually say that it's a crucial year for students, those who are going for the higher studies, because they need a lot of recommendation letters, lot of letters that is required for their higher education, depends on the university. So each and every day in the school is important for you, because some universities not only recommend you or get seats only purely on academics, because you have to take part in all the activities, all the chances that is given by the school to develop your skill. So allow me to go through what is ISWK offering you. Kushmi ma'am. If you look at here, this is every orientation, we have this slide. The hill that represents ISWK with a lot of greenery, lot of waterfall, rainbow, etc. And it is being attracted by students, those who are rowing in the boat. You can see that. Let us see why the ISWK is the best school in the capital area or in Oman. Let us see what is in ISWK. So this particular orientation is to make us the harmonious well-being of parents, students, and teachers, because we all three together constitute the 360-degree. So each and everyone is important. So this orientation is for to orient the 1/3 part of the 360, that's the parents. At ISWK, let's see what is all there. We have a strong academic team. Let us go through that academic team or academic area, what are there. And this is the strong pillar of Indian School Vadikapuri. Every department is headed by a strong head of the department. So you know all of them. They will introduce themselves in the due course. And next pillar is our coordinators. We have activity coordinators and PE coordinators. And then the next pillar is our class teachers. You might be knowing all of them by the time. Class teachers are already maybe interacted with you also. So these are the class teachers of class 11. Let us see academic in detail. We offer 16 subjects in our school, which has different theory part and different practical part. This is exclusively different from what you have in class 10. In class 10, there was internal exam, internal marks, 20 marks and 80 marks theory. But here, the practical or the internal marks is different and the theory mark is different. That each department will tell you. But a separate minimum in theory and practical is very important in class 11. This is our grading system. But CBSE grading system is something different. That when you come to know that when you see the mark sheet at the back side, it is given as a percentile. Top 1/8 students will get A1. Next 1/8 student will get A2. That means the entire student, those who wrote the examination, pass, will be written in the descending order, and the top 1/8 will get the A1. So that is different from what we are offering. We offer A1 in 91 to 100. So there may be a difference of A1 when you look at our report card and CBSE report card. So CBSE A1 depends on the performance of the students. Next one. And we already started our classes. There are 5 specific academic subjects are there that each HOD will explain to you after my presentation. They are ready with their presentation. And we already started our classes. This year, you might have noticed, we reduce our bell timing. Classes will get over by 1:45, but without diluting any academic or activity area. Earlier, we had 3 breaks. Now we made into 2 breaks. Both the breaks, they can use the canteen. Yes, ma'am. And this is our exam pattern. You already know that one unit test schedule is already given. After that, summer break will be there. Then in the month of September, they have assessment. That's what we call it as assessment 1. That will be 60, 70 or 80 mark, depends on CBSE pattern. Then assessment 2 will be there in November. And by 10th February, we will complete the syllabus. And end of the February will be the final examination. And in March, mid or March 10, we will start the new class 12. And if you see that every exam has got a weightage. 10, 20, 20, 50. This is the weightage that we calculated for the promotion to next class, that's class 12. We expect every student get at least 40% mark in theory and practical separately. Then only they will be promoted to next class. So every exam is important. You have to do your best and you can make up in the coming examination also if you are not able to do well in any one of the examinations. That's why we are given this weightage. Yes, ma'am. And all our worksheets are uploaded on our website. If you go to the website, if you click on the academic, we will get the from the website, we will get all the worksheets. Year-wise, subject-wise, it is mentioned. We request all the parents to go through our website, get the worksheet, get the notes, prepare yourself. And even the syllabus will also be put up on the website. And all of our assessment include, this is a CBSE initiative. There will be MCQ, assertion, reasoning type, response type, and subjective type question. This subjective type question include creative response, case study, source-based, and competency-based questions. We will give practice for them. Don't worry. All our worksheet includes all these types of questions. So this is the CBSE initiative this year onwards. Next one. And this is to motivate our students for after every exam, every section, first 4 position will get a badge. This is to motivate them in academic. First position will get diamond, then gold, then silver, then bronze. If 4 students are sharing the first position, all the 4 students will get a badge. This will be given after every examination. This is what happening in academic. Then what else is giving in the Indian School Vadikabir? Next is we have a clubs. We have most vibrant clubs. We request all the students to actively participate in Eco Club. Then Entrepreneurship and Business Club, that is the initiative from the Commerce Department. Then we have the Gavel Club, initiative from English Department. And we have a Science and Innovation Club, initiative from Science Department. And we have Vadikabir Model United Nation Club, that's the initiative from the Studies Department. And we have IT Club, we have initiative from IT Department. And also we have a strong quiz club. You can see that last year we were the winner of Times of Oman Senior Quiz. So these are the different clubs. We request all the students to actively participate in this. Then we have a strong able department. Strong able department we have. The name itself says advise, believe, learn, elevate, which gives a lot of counseling and special education. They will give you, explain to you department wise. So we have a strong able department. Then we have a strong physical education department. And we have Indian School Vadikabir is the only school having a ISWK Sports Academy, which gives training for 17 games. 17 games. So we request our students to participate at least in 2 games, because the skill that you get from sports field is different from the skill that you get from the classroom. So we request our students to actively participate in the games and sports. Then the next one is we have co-scholastic activities are there. Under the co-scholastic activities, we have work education, that is in their syllabus, health and physical education, that's also in their syllabus, and the period is allotted to them. Then they have a general studies where they have to do a projects. So these carries grades A1, A2, B1, B2, etc. This is what CBSE says. These grades they will be getting for their internal co-scholastic activities. These co-scholastic activities are very important for their recommendation for the university. And they ask for transcripts even, what all extracurricular activities they took part. We allow, Indian School Vadikabir allows students to grow naturally. But if that natural growth is there, our mantra is measure, monitor, and mentor. So for mentoring purpose, we have the discipline procedure. If any student is not following the natural growth process, we have the disciplinary measures. We explained already this to the students. We have a blue card that is given in the calendar, yellow card, and a red card. Please note that once a card you get, you won't be allowed to participate in any of the activities that is offered by the school. So that will affect your natural growth. So we request all the parents to be very careful. Tell the students, now what we observed is lot of misuse of social media. We don't want any student posting anything negative or positive, anything, any comments about that tarnishing the image of the school, students and teachers. Be very careful. We are getting a lot of complaints. We don't want any student posting anything. And recently, today, we had successfully conducted our student council election online. So we are giving enough opportunity for the students to take part in all these. But if they don't have the natural growth, of course, we have to take our own measures. So these are the things we are offering. With this process, we make the students a global citizen. Our aim is to make education, the whole purpose of education is turn mirrors into windows. So let us sacrifice teachers, students, and parents today for the betterment of the tomorrow for our students. So let us put together make our Vadikabir proud of, so that students will be proud of, parents will be proud of, and we teachers also will be proud of. And with this process, we will push the students into the real world. You can see the last slide, to swim along the current or against the current, but definitely they will be successful. That is our aim. You can see that by this process, the hill has become dry, and the students after the process are going to the face the real world. So wish you all the very best, students, parents. Let us work together to develop the skill in the students and make their life better. Thank you, dear parents. Over to Mr. Harvinder Singh Bagga, the head of the Department of Commerce, to follow the procedure. Thank you, dear parents.
Thank you so much, sir. Once again, a very good evening to all the parents and my colleagues on the panel. Welcome to our orientation. We start with introduction of our facilitators. Khushbu ma'am. Starting with Mrs. Chitra Sudhakaran, teaching business studies and accountancy. Ms. Wahida, teaching business studies and marketing. Mrs. Indrani, who's an economics teacher. Mrs. Anna De Silva, teaching economics and also is the class teacher of grade 11F. Mrs. Bindu Mary Thomas, the senior most teacher in the department, teaching accountancy and business studies. She's also grade 11E class teacher. Ms. Fiona D'Souza, teaching marketing and entrepreneurship. Mr. Rajeshi Ghosh, class teacher 11G, who's teaching accountancy and entrepreneurship. And myself, Mr. Bagga, teaching accountancy and heading the department. As far as the division of marks is concerned, each of our subject has the practical part involved. So the division of the marks, accounts, business and economics, 80 marks is going to be the theory paper and 20 marks is for practicals. Entrepreneurship, the division is 70 and 30, and marketing, the division is 60 and 40 marks for practicals. The next one, please. Now, when we talk about the project work, the project evaluation criteria basically consists of three main aspects. The students are going to prepare a project file in each of their subjects, which will be followed by a written examination in certain subjects like accountancy and entrepreneurship, and a viva, which will be conducted for each of the subject. The textbooks that we use. Most of the books we use are NCERT in business studies, economics, as well as entrepreneurship. For accountancy, we are using T.S. Grewal. As far as marketing is concerned, we have CBSE material. As CBSE is not published, an NCERT textbook is not available. The material has been published, so the teachers are using that material to provide the notes to our students and explain them the concepts. A few very important points, dear parents, to note. Number one is the daily revision of the topics done in the class is very essential in all the subjects, especially in the subjects which are theoretical, like business studies, entrepreneurship, economics, and marketing. We should ensure that the child at least devotes 15 to 20 minutes of their reading time so that the concepts learned in the class are well revised by them on daily basis and the doubts could be clarified the very next day. Developing writing habit. Ma'am, the previous one. Developing the writing habit. Very, very important, because coming to grade 11, there is a major shift, a major change. The students are expected to write the long answers as well as the case-based questions, for which writing habit is must. Dear parents, please ensure your wards do not use calculators at any point of time, especially when you're doing the statistics as part of economics as well as accountancy. Developing the good calculation skills is mandatory. That's one of the basic reasons the students falter during the examination, saying we are unable to complete our papers. They need to ensure they develop those calculation skills at this stage. In order to have effective learning, effective monitoring, and effective communication, the Commerce Department adopts the following measures. For effective learning, the next slide, please. Yes. The worksheets are provided to the students in all subjects, which are uploaded chapter-wise in our school website as well as in our ERB. Notes for all the chapters are being provided in all the subjects to the students. Purposely, these notes are not being shared on the website. The reason being, as I said, developing writing habit is important. So the teachers make the students write them in the class so that they develop that skill. Very, very important. The recapitulation of the topics is done through quizzes consisting of objective type questions. With the change in the pattern of the board examination, 25 to 30% of the paper now is an OTQ based, objective type questions are there, which is a mix of multiple choice questions, true or false, assertion and reasoning. So to give the training to our students in grade 11 itself, we have our recapitulation done through these OTQ sheets as well as certain case-based questions. For effective monitoring of your board's performance, we ensure the teachers take attendance period-wise. Regular communication will be made through email to the parents. Need-based one-to-one meeting with the parents are arranged. As far as effective communication is concerned, please, it's a request to the parents to monitor the work of your board and the communication with the class teacher. We expect the following communication protocol to be always followed as far as the academic matters are concerned. Any grievance of yours, any issue, please feel free to post to the class teacher, followed by the head of department, vice principal, and then to the principal. This was on the academic part of the students. Now, these measures which the department has been taking has accrued, given us great results in the past. Like in our past years, our previous year has not been an exception. The Department of Commerce of ISWK has always been amongst the toppers in the country. In our last year too, our student who bagged first position in our school, Mr. Rohan Tom, bagged the third position in Oman. Second position was grabbed by Ms. Mirdula, followed by third, Ms. Alina Susan. Our students have not just topped overall, but they have also made us proud by achieving 100% results in various subjects. As far as accountancy is concerned, back to back, we have been the only school in Oman to score 100% in accountancy, with two of our students scoring the same, Master Rohan Tom Saji and Sara Tahir Patla. We broke our own record last year, wherein our student Mirdula scored 100% in business studies. As far as entrepreneurship was concerned, 99% was the score by Savio Shibu. Marketing, 98% by Kanishka Shankar. The toppers in economics scored 97%. Our results have been a proof of the academic success. But we at the Department of Commerce, apart from academics, we develop the leadership qualities in our students, and to ensure and give them that platform to sharpen their skills, we have a unique business and entrepreneurship club, one of its kind in our school. An overview of this club can be known to the variety of activities which the clubs conducts throughout the year. We have a separate council designated to govern this club. I congratulate those parents whose wards from grade 11 has been successfully selected and elected for being part of our BNE club. Once we coach our students in academics and enhance their leadership skills through various activities, the end product of our school is a person who's adopted by the market. A few to cite here as examples of proud achievers from the Department of Commerce who have made their alma mater proud. This is just a few, those who have recently taken up the senior positions in the local market itself. The list is endless. Thank you so much, parents, for patiently listening to us. I now call upon the head of Department of Science, Mrs. Jennifer, to take over.
Thank you, Mr. Bakar. Good evening to one and all present here. I, Jennifer Robinson, head of the Department of Science, will be giving you an insight of different subjects that we handle. Yes, ma'am. Aim of science is to seek the simplest explanation of the complex fact. We have 4 branches: physics, chemistry, biology, and engineering graphics. Let me first introduce my team members. From the physics department, we have Mr. William, Mrs. Vipina, Mr. Rangdir, Mrs. Vivet, and Mrs. Priyanka. From the chemistry department, Mrs. Janisha, Mrs. Jasmine, Mr. Anu, Mr. Praveen, and myself. From the biology department, we have Mrs. Agnes, Mrs. Arunima, Mrs. Reena Prashant. And from the engineering graphics, we have Mrs. Aishwarya. This team, yes, so it's okay. So here we have the textbook, part 1 and part 2 for physics, the NCERT textbook, followed by the NCERT for chemistry, part 1 and part 2. They have 2 books to be followed. And then we have biology, part 1, and part 2 will be next year. That's what the meaning. And then in engineering graphics, again, we have 1 book to be followed. So apart from that, we have lab manuals also prescribed to our students. We have 4 important labs: physics, chemistry, biology, and engineering graphics. All the 4 labs are well equipped with all the apparatus that are required for the syllabus as per the CBSE curriculum. So the children have to go to the lab according to a fixed timetable and then perform their experiments in the lab. To be more pointing out, we have in biology lab a digital microscope. So what is the importance of this digital microscope is that here you can easily capture the images. There is a camera which will act as an eyepiece. And then finally, the images are seen in a much magnified level. So according to me, it is the only school, ours is the only school having such a wonderful microscope where in biology, different types of cells, tissues, organs, everything can be studied in a much better way. Yes, ma'am. Moving on to the engineering graphics lab. We teach children with all these lines and plane and horizontal view, vertical view, and so on. We also teach them with AutoCAD, which is also called as CollabCAD. So this software is already available in our system, and the children will be given training. Particularly, this becomes a case study and a project file for the class 12. So the basic foundation is applied in class 11. As we move on with the paper, the question paper pattern, for all 4 subjects, the theory will be equal to 70 marks. Whereas the practicals, the project, and Viva together will be 30 marks. Apart from that, class 11 children will be having internal grades in general studies, work experience, and PE, that is physical education. So all these put together will be found for class 11 students. Can click, ma'am, one more time. Yes. So let me now give a little information on how is our syllabus designed. Particularly in physics, the concepts are little on the higher level. The foundation physics was studied in class 9 and 10, but as they come to class 11, definitely there is an increase in the portion and also increase in the application part, experimental, observation, decision-making, investigatory pattern, and problem-solving questions will be noticed. If you take the exams, like example which I've shown here, we cannot study physics in the form of like just memorizing. We need to understand the concept. I've just put an example for you. Just a game cricket itself has a lot of physics in it. So we need to know how to apply this in our day-to-day situation or real examples that we find in and around us. Moving on to chemistry. Chemistry is completely dealing with important branches like inorganic chemistry, then organic chemistry we have, and then physical chemistry we have. And also some general chemistry chapters are also there. Altogether, there are around 9 chapters. But now the thing is, in the textbook, if you see, you will be noticed around 14 chapters. So we have to make sure that you stick to the curriculum and whatever the teachers are teaching in the class, those portion is something very important. And the notes are also given from time to time, which they need to refer very well. Because as I told you in the textbook, all the chapters are available, so which may be confusing for the children if they are trying to use it. So, but reading can be done. Definitely reading can be done from the textbook for the topics that are done in class. Moving on to biology. Biology is again a vast portion. Vast portion in the sense new topics are learned, which are not done in the 9 and 10 level. Particularly animal kingdom, plant kingdom, I'm sure the children must have come across, but you have, apart from that, morphology of flowering plants, anatomy of the flowering plants, there's a lot of drawing involved. So children with great interest, they need to perform all these topics. We have around 19 chapters to be covered. So it is my humble request to my students and the parents to kindly follow up with the chapters, and the students should definitely prepare well. Moving on to engineering graphics. Engineering graphics, the topics are completely dealing with plane geometry, solid geometry, and machine drawing. So here it is a lot of practice is given in the classroom itself by the teacher, so that we need to do the same kind of practice at home. So when we keep doing all these things, I'm sure my class 11 science students will definitely perform much better in the coming examinations. Yes, ma'am. Over to the question paper pattern. As I told before, the question paper pattern, the marks are equal, that is 70 marks and for 3 hours, but the paper is completely different from subject to subject. So you can have a look at it in the next slide. You have to click. One by one, you can click, yes. So here in physics, if you notice, there are 33 questions, and you can find that the components are also mentioned, MCQ, assertion and reason. Then you have 1 mark question, 2 marks, and finally we have case study based question. Of course, our children in class 10 itself, they have come across a passage based, case based questions and so on. But definitely here it will be a little higher order thinking skills. But time to time, there are worksheets which are going to help them. Apart from that, in the class also, children will be given training in these case study questions, which will be very useful to them. Now, if I go to the chemistry part, you will notice the same 33 questions, but you will find that apart from multiple choice question, which is 16, there is a last line mentioned in the slide, that is log tables and calculator are not allowed. Now, log tables once upon a time was given as an usage, but now even that is stopped. So it is a duty of the children to listen to the class carefully, what the teacher is explaining, or how to apply these numbers in the numerical part is something very, very important for class 11. I should say it is a very new portion. So we need to pay much attention in the class, particularly during physical chemistry numericals. Moving on to the biology, you have again 33 questions. So this is like class 12. You can see that I'm showing the slide of class 12, which will be definitely implemented in class 11 also. There's no much difference at all. It is the same CBSE pattern we will follow. So that's why it's mentioned there, class 12. Similarly, in engineering graphics also, there are some guidelines given in the general instruction. Definitely the teacher will be explaining to you time to time how to do it during the regular lessons. Question paper components, as I mentioned in the previous slide, we have objective type, which is multiple choice, assertion and reason, then simple definitions, give reasons, numericals, chemical equations, diagram based. So diagram based questions are very often in biology. Now here I wanted to really make sure that this becomes a foundation for class 11. Whatever we study now, the topics that are available becomes a foundation for class 12. So in biology particularly, diagram-based questions have become much more. So children have to keep in mind to draw the diagrams on their own. They cannot cut and paste or something like that or ignore the diagrams. They need to practice the diagrams so well, so minutely, so that they can answer to any type of questions available. Apart from that, there are skill-based questions, reasoning-based questions, and so on. Moving on to the remedial measures that are there in the department. We give time to time the enhancement classes in the sense sometimes it goes as an extra class so that we cover the portion in a much moderate speed, which can be easily handled by the children. Apart from that, we also have revision classes. Sometimes before the 1 week before the exam, we give them the important topics to be discussed, and maybe reteaching of the concepts will happen, so which the children should learn time to time. Periodical tests, there are class tests after every chapter or every 2 chapters so that they understand their performance and the progress also. So time to time, when there is parent-teacher meet or HOD meeting or vice principal meeting, it is your duty to please attend to those meetings to get more information on the performance of your ward. Particularly home assignment is something very, very important in class 11. It will definitely be little more than what you find in class 10. But if we perform from time to time, the home assignment given in physics, chemistry, biology, and engineering graphics, I'm sure we can excel very well. The worksheets are something very important. It can be utilized during the course of learning or at the end during the work, at the end of the chapter and so on. So time to time counseling is also done, and we take the help from the ABLE department to see that you perform well. If there is any difficulty in learning, you can definitely come back to us. Yes, ma'am. So apart from that, this is a website that you need to follow, our school website and also the CBSE website. Definitely the teachers, they post the detail for you in the MCB. So please have a check on that also to get more information. Moving on to the inter-house and inter-school competitions. Definitely our science department conduct a lot of competitions for the children, starting from the Olympiad to the Synergy inter-school competition. Last year, model making was the competition where our children really excelled very well. So, ma'am. Synergy, there are some glimpses and photographs for you to have a look at it. We have a strong editorial team where the children of class 11 can be a part of it. And also they can project their model, which they wanted to give it in the form of writing. They can do that and contact the editorial team for that. Yes, ma'am. So a little out of the box, we also give training in workshops connected to mobile robotics, aero modeling, then astronomical challenges. We try to make our children to participate in that, and definitely year by year there is always a good amount of participation, and also they excel very well. Australian National Chemistry Quiz is something which we follow right from 2017. And this quiz is very, very important to become like a deep understanding of the chemistry subject in the form of paragraph based or case study based is done in this particular quiz, which gives a lot of understanding of the subject. We also, as a team, physics, chemistry, biology, and engineering graphics, time to time, we give our children the career guidance. So after 12th, what is next? So CBSE also has released a big booklet of all the career information, which we can really present to you when you are in need of. So we tell them what is the meaning of nanotech or genetic engineering or aeronautical engineering or simple subjects to the level of PhD. So we can definitely guide you in that regard as a team. So for any kind of doubts or guidance or anything, you can definitely write to our team members and also to me. So the last important point, what my team wants to say to you all is hard work is something important. I'm sure I did not present to you about the results because I'm still waiting for you all to excel much better. So hard work and motivation is something very, very important this year so that you can present in your class 11, in class 12 in a much better way. So if you have any fears, please come out of that and see that every step that you learn in the department is going to be towards success. On behalf of the department, I would like to say thank you to all the members. Thank you. So now I call upon Roshni ma'am, head of the department, English, so to proceed with the further proceedings. Roshni ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Jennifer ma'am. Thank you. Well, good evening once again. This is Roshni Mazumdar, heading the Department of English. Next slide, please. So like most other subjects, we have two components, the internal assessment and the external one, which is the main board exam. Board exam is the written paper will be out of 80 marks and 20 will be there for the internal. So what do we have in the internal assessment? I'll clarify all the doubts for you. Next one. In the paper, the written paper, we have 4 sections: reading, writing, grammar, and literature. Reading comprises of 20 marks. Grammar and writing, you can see 10 marks each. And for literature, we have 40 marks. So we have 2 textbooks for literature, and they have to read the lessons carefully. They are taught in class, explained very thoroughly. Now, what our children have to understand is class 11 is a pre-board class. So whatever they do now will be there for class 12 as well. So they should focus more on English, because sorry to say that English is not given much importance because they focus more on other subjects. So, they tend to lose marks in English, whereas English is very scoring. And if they read the literature, since 40 marks they have for literature, since everything is taught in class, they need to focus more, practice the question answers, and practice the writing section very well. So the writing section is again important, and the reading section. Now for the writing section, the students need to read a lot. What do they need to read? They need to read reports, articles, editorials in the newspaper, because there is a different way of writing those. Apart from letters and all, they have formal letters also, but the other writing pieces require a formal structure, which comes only through reading and practice. So we would request the students to read a lot. Now coming to the internal part, we have 10 marks for the project work. They'll get a project and they will be doing that. Probably we'll give the topic before the summer break, so they can work during the summer break and submit it after the summer break. And 5 marks for listening, 5 marks for speaking. Now this ASL or speaking and listening, these skills are very important. As you already know that English or any language is all about the 4 skills, developing the 4 skills: reading, speaking, listening, and writing. And those who want to, pursue higher studies or want to go for IELTS exam, they need to write, give tests in speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So these skills are very, very important, and they are developed in class through various activities, as well as through these small tests that we have. So these are of great importance for the children. Next slide, ma'am. So a little more on the internal aspect, 20 marks, assessment of listening and speaking. As you can see, the advantages or the objectives of developing their speaking and listening skills. And definitely, if one speaks confidently, then half the job is done, whether it be facing an interview or going for any important work. If they can speak confidently, it helps them a lot. So definitely, needless to say that these skills are very important, and we develop them in school. Periodic assessments will be conducted to gauge the importance. And how can they improve their listening and speaking skills? Of course, listening to TED Talks, BBC News, peers, and listening to speeches of other people, great personalities. So that would help a lot. And we have the Gavels Club. So if they are part of the Gavels Club also, many of the students were till 10th, many were part of the Gavels Club, but after 10, they often leave it because of, study pressure and academic pressure. But I would advise you to continue, because that helps a lot. The roles that they take up in the Gavel clubs, they, actually make them more confident as public speakers. Next one. So these are, again, some important listening and speaking strategies which are prescribed by CBSE. These presentations will be uploaded and you can check all these points later on. Now, the books that are prescribed by, yes, next slide, ma'am. By CBSE, the books have already been purchased by the students, so they are aware of it, Snapshots and Hornbill. Next slide, ma'am. Now, the facilitators, we have very experienced teachers who are teaching grade 11. We have Mrs. Meenu Thomas, Mrs. Soni PC, Mrs. Sudeshna Majumdar, Mr. Matthew George, and Mr. Sahil Bharadwaj. So these are our facilitators. Any problem, any doubt, they can always reach out to these teachers first. And then if still they need some help, I'm always there to help our students. So we want our teachers, the objective of teaching English at ISWK is not only to study the lessons that are there in the books, that will always be a part of school curriculum. But then more than that, we want to prepare them for life, make them global citizens who can speak, who can collaborate, who can critically think. And for that, I think to be active in the English lessons is very important. Now, CBSE has also asked us to integrate art in all the languages or all the subjects that are taught. So for English, we have these, activities which are integrated with art, comic strips, storyboard, podcasts are there, restaurant reviews, travel brochures, and other presentations. Next, ma'am. This is one of, our accolades, actually. In the English Olympiad last year, Tanmay Shukla, who was in 11th grade last year, now he's in 12th, he got the 4th rank at the international level. So that was a great achievement. And many of our students in other classes have also won, accolades for the school. Yes, next. We participate in various CBSE activities. So some of them are expression series, storytelling, and we've just given you a certificate to show you that every time these children participate in any such competition, they get a certificate. Immediately, CBSE generates this certificate and it is given. So you can see last year some students participated. We have just given you one such certificate. So it's mentioned there, CBSE storytelling competition. And whichever activity they are participating in, they immediately get a certificate. So all this, actually, dear parents, after 12th grade, if they have to have a good profile, these things help to, make an impressive profile for the students. So the more they participate, the better. And this was our topper in English last year in grade 12. He got 99%. And we hope that we can do better this year with our batch, class 11 batch that we have now. Next. Various competitions, again, to develop their speaking and listening skills and, all the important skills that they need to develop. We have elocution, next, inter-house elocution, inter-house debate. Then we have the inter-school LinguaViz competition, which is a quiz competition, and all the schools in the Sultanate participate. Then we have our Gavel clubs, and these sessions are held twice every month, 2 Saturdays each month, and they are trained and they get certificate every time they speak. So that helps them again. Next. We have a team of podcasts. So we have some very good students who are in grade 11 now, and they actually prepare wonderful podcasts for school programs. So we want more students to participate in this. Next. Apart from this, obviously, the English department is involved in anchoring for various school programs, be it Founders Day, Independence Day, Republic Day, investiture ceremony. Next, ma'am. That's all. So we request all the parents to ensure that the children read. Nowadays, our children are not reading enough. that is lacking. So they need to read to improve their vocabulary, because in grade 12, in the board exam, their vocabulary is tested. And so if they are not reading, their vocabulary won't improve, their writing style won't improve. So we request you to supervise or help them read more and also practice a lot of writing. That's all from the Department of English. Thank you. Now I invite Mrs. Rashmi Patankar, who is heading the Psychology and ABLE team. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very good evening to all. I'm Mrs. Rashmi Patankar, in charge of the Counseling and Special Needs department called ABLE, along with psychology subject. ABLE stands for Advise, Believe, Learn, and Elevate. And that is what we aim to provide at ISWK. We want the children in our care to be happy and to view and experience school as a safe space filled with discovery, opportunity, and positive challenge. We firmly believe that happy students learn the best and most and better engage in a more meaningful way, and thereby get the most out of the school experience. Ma'am, can you go to the next slide, please? The major areas handled by the ABLE team are counseling and special education. Under counseling, we take care of behavioral, academic, and career counseling. These are all need-based counseling services, and either the student can self-refer themselves, parent can refer, or even the teachers, if they feel the need, can refer. We help students when we see there is some kind of behavior that needs to be corrected or improved or helped upon. Ma'am, can you please stay on the previous slide? Career counseling is also provided, especially for our higher students, higher grade students. Ma'am, the previous slides, please. One more. Yes, thank you. Career counseling is also provided to our high school students, where there is a need for career exploration. If the children are confused, what to choose, where to go, what universities to choose, what subjects to choose. We also have a very strong special needs department. So at ISWK, we believe in inclusive education, and we try to bridge the gap for the students, especially for SEND students who need that kind of help. We provide them with informal assessments, we provide remedials, exam assistance, and CBSE documentation if there is some need. When should you see a counselor? Of course, the list is not exhaustive. You can come, meet us, share your feelings. If you feel something needs to be told, if you're seeing something happening at school and needs to be shared, somebody is bullying you, you see somebody being bullied, or just generally if you feel coming and seeing us, you are most welcome. But children, do remember, you have to take prior permission from either your subject teacher or class teacher before you come and see us. Next slide, please. A quick guide to choosing the right stream. Now that you're in grade 11, you must have all chosen the subjects that hopefully you love and will follow it through in your college and career ahead. So there are certain things that you should all remember while choosing the subjects that you've taken up. Don't be under pressure. Don't be under just because that your friend has chosen a particular subject, or you feel that subject is easy. Let me take that. Let me tell you, there is no subject called easy subject. All subjects are equally difficult and will require equal amount of hard work and input. So make sure you choose subjects which you feel you can take it up ahead and putting that much of required hard work. Next slide, please. So important factors that you should keep in mind, not only now, but as you move ahead in life and choose your university or colleges. These are certain things which will help you to choose the correct path. So choosing your subjects and career should be based on your personality, on your interest level, on the motivation that you have to follow that subject or to learn more of that subject, your learning styles. Each student is a very individual learner, as we have all multiple intelligence, different ways of learning. So each child learns very differently. So make sure you are aware of the way you can, access knowledge and retain it and work towards that. And of course, your skills and abilities. So these are certain things that you should keep in mind while choosing the career choice or subject choice as you go ahead. And to do that, we have a psychometric testing platform available at school for a very nominal cost. Children can take up that test, psychometric test, and a very comprehensive report is generated, which will provide them with career clusters, occupations, career paths, what subject combinations to choose, which universities offer that. So this all can be provided for if they take up the psychometric testing, and that is available at the school. You can make the payment via the MCB. Ma'am, can you go to the next slide? So we can just show them. Yeah. So these are the steps for making the payment. You can go via the MCB to pay for the psychometric testing platform, or you can also go and pay at the school fee counter. Once the payment has been made, a report is generated, a very comprehensive report is generated, 32 pages. And then you can go and meet the counselor. You can take an appointment with our career counselor, Mrs. Neha, and she will guide you through for what steps and provide the necessary guidance. Next slide. Throughout the year, we conduct a lot of events for our teachers, for our students, to promote and mental health and well-being for everyone. And not only the mental health and well-being, but we also focus on career guidance sessions. We invite universities and help our students to understand the changes that are taking place and what they need to keep in touch with, especially when it comes to high school students. And we have a very vibrant Instagram page, and you can follow us on ma'am, you can go back to the previous slide. You can follow us on the Instagram page. And so events like Mental Health Week, anti-bullying, career guidance, etc. are being done throughout the year. Next slide, please. So we have a very vibrant and robust team of counselors, which includes career counselors and special educators. And they are placed across the different buildings of ISWK and ISWKI. You can, of course, get in touch with them in case you have any need, and these are our contact email IDs, and you can contact us. And it is very highly recommended you take a prior appointment, especially parents, to avoid any kind of waiting or disappointment. Make sure to take an appointment and come. Students are more than welcome to walk in and come, but as I mentioned earlier, take prior permission. Yes, ma'am, the last slide. And that is all from the ABLE department. And now I'd like to invite Mrs. Gayatri, who takes psychology for grade 11, and she will guide you through the subject content and the exam and the way ahead. Over to you, Gayatri, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Rashmi, ma'am. So good evening, everyone. I am Mrs. Gayatri Gajbhye. I am quite new to the ISWK family, but be rest assured, I am not new to psychology and definitely not new to CBSE. So speaking of psychology, as we say, at the outset, I would like to say that psychology is a very upcoming field. And though traditionally it is associated with the humanities stream, from the past 2 decades, easily, it is recognized that psychology has a lot of implications when it comes to the sciences as well as commerce. So psychology is offered as an elective subject at higher senior secondary stage in both commerce and science departments in our school. So as a discipline, psychology focuses on the study of experiences, of behaviors, of mental processes. So the board syllabus for grade 12, it's a 2-year course that deals with psychological knowledge, which includes practical application as well as theoretical understanding. So you have to definitely understand that though we have dealt with psychology informally in terms of understanding personality, emotions, when we are studying psychology theoretically, it requires narrative understanding. It requires to understand analyzing common problems, but with a more scientific approach. So these are some of the objectives that have been stated by the CBSE board for understanding psychology better. So appreciation of the human mind and behavior. Psychology has practical implications. So for all aspects of life, we can use psychology. It's a subject that's personally very relevant. So the learners not only learn it as a subject in which they score, but through learning the subject, they can become more socially aware. They can become more self-reflective, which I think will definitely lead towards personal growth and effectiveness. It's also an upcoming field, like I said, so it's a high demand career choice. Let's take a look at the syllabus now. Total number of chapters is 9. However, CBSE has omitted one chapter. So chapter 3 has been removed. The theory paper is of 70 marks and there is a practical component which is of 30 marks. Next slide, ma'am. So these are the basic competencies that CBSE is looking at. Remembering, understanding, application, and of course, formulating, evaluating, and creating. I would definitely like to stress that the present papers that have been seen, the board sample papers and the annual papers, have a lot of application questions. So right from the beginning, we are trying to train children from grade 11 itself as to how to attempt these application-based questions, because just knowing the theory may not help. They will have to take training in how to attempt these application questions. So we are training them from grade 11 itself. Next slide, ma'am. Yes, a little about the component that includes practicals. So there are many topics in the theory such as learning, thinking, memory. So just to give a glimpse of how psychology is applied in practical settings, these students have to be doing the practical exams where 2 experiments are taught to them, of which 1 experiment they have to do for their annual practical exam. Also, there is 1 project which is involved. This also is a topic of their choice, any topic from the realm of psychology. And together, the project as well as the practical, the experiment will fetch them 30 marks. So theory is 70 marks, while practicals is 30 marks. Yes, ma'am. Next. As we can see, there is a distribution of how the marks are given. Practical file has to be maintained, which is 5 marks. There's a project file that is 5 marks. There'll be a viva that will be conducted at the end of the year, which will be 5 marks. They'll conduct 1 experiment out of the 2 that have been shared with them. That'll conduct 15 marks, for which 5 go for the conduct and 10 goes for the report. Yeah, ma'am. Next slide, please. So this is our team. Mrs. Rashmi, who is in charge of ABLE and the psychology team. And like I said, it's me, Mrs. Gayatri. But before I sign off, I would definitely like to say that psychology is a very application-oriented subject. However, the written part of psychology is not as simplistic as it seems. So the students need to be very thorough in keeping their notebooks updated, ensuring that they're doing writing practice thoroughly, because it's a very scoring subject. And if enough efforts are taken, even centum is not impossible. So all the very best to the new grade 11. And I hope they get really good results this year and the next. Thank you so much. Over to the HOD of the Computer Science Department now to proceed with the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very happy evening to dear parents, my colleagues, and dear students. Class 11th, Computer Science and Informatics Practices. So before I brief further on, let's understand how the marks are distributed in the theory paper. Computer Science, you have 3 different units. One is exclusively to know how the computer system is organized. And the second one is present and future ready programming language is Python, carrying 45 marks. That is the major portion covered. And the next one is how you are supposed to be on social media, law and ethics to be followed when you are especially on the internet. Very wonderful and specifically designed syllabus to make you all ready for the future. And you also have a practical session wherein you will be tested about your logical thinking, how good you are at writing your own program. I must say that it is not compulsory that you need to write the program what teacher teaches, what textbook says. It is up to your own logical thinking. You can come up with your own program, make sure that your program is user-friendly and works perfect on screen. So that carries 12 marks, and then report file, a record book which you maintain, and the specific questions will be given to you. So those questions to be written in the separate record book, and then you need to do a simple project of your own, and the topics will specify, and coding is up to you. You come up with your own logic. And meantime, we'll also have a Viva, so where the questions will be asked on the project, on the program you have developed, and your logical thinking. So ultimately that leads to 30 marks. Coming to informatics practices, again it is 70 marks and 30 as practical. Introduction to computer system, very important. Even though it's a theory chapter, it will make you to understand on what basis the system works. And you have a good chance to learn Python even in informatics practices also. And the database concepts, that is especially for the backend, where the data has to be stored and which can be accessed through the front end, that is Python. You are lucky enough yourself, you are learning both front end as well as backend programming languages, and the database structure as backend. And emerging trends. If you talk AI, yes, AI next step is machine learning, deep learning. You talk about machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, neural network, computer vision. You talk any particular future technology, yes, you have a chance to learn using your Python programming. Consider yourself as a very lucky student. This is last 2-3 years we started this syllabus as the CBSE prescribes. Next. Yeah, you have a practical also in informatics practices. As I said, you need to write a program in Python language, and database is a backend. You have SQL. Please note, your Python as well as SQL both are open source softwares. Okay, our intention is to promote the open source softwares, not necessarily that you can use only proprietary software. Please note on it. And then there is a practical file. Then comes Viva. The questions will be asked you on the program you have written. That carries 5 marks, and together it is 30 marks. Next. Here, apart from learning what is done in the classroom, you are always open to write your own logical program. You can unleash your thinking and come up with your own program, develop your own program, and showcase it in IT Talent Hunt. So that will definitely give you the brief knowledge about the subject, and there is no restriction that you need to code only this particular language. Once you know any language, you can definitely come up with your own programs. Next. Yeah. So this is just an example that the last year 11 students, those who are in 12th present, they come up with their own program. They implemented AI programming, that is face recognition, and they got the prize in Mechathon, which is held by Middle East College, and they won 800 Riyals. So these kind of competition outside are taken care in your school. Be lucky that you have all kind of chances. Okay. And then academics, yes, academics we are definitely good at, and we can still produce better result than this. We are not concentrating on 1, 2, 3. The entire class has to produce the best result. That is the aim, and that is possible. These are the 3 students who got 99% in computer science, and there are 4 students who got 99% in informatics practices. Only one sentence I want to say: Indian school Wadi Kabir is meant for solutions. Any problem, yes, we are here to give you a solution. Stop your teacher in the class asking why and get your job done. So that will definitely encourage you as well as us. Let's grow together. Thank you. And the teachers who are teaching in the department and those who are actually presenting this presentation, which is going in the orientation, Anila madam is here, Jasna ma'am is here, Kushbu ma'am is here. Any further doubts, you can check with them, and further clarification, you can always talk to your head of the department. That's me. Thank you. Over to Mr. Sanjit Das, Head Mathematics. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jagdish. Very good evening to dear parents, my dear colleagues, and dear students. Overview on mathematics. The teachers who will be taking care of you, Mr. Joji, Mr. Prasad, and myself. The email IDs are there. Obviously, you can contact us. This is the mathematics rationalized textbook we are following. When I say rationalized, there are a couple of parts which are, deleted, I would say, which is not that much required, because there are a lot of changes coming up from the CBSE in terms of design of question paper. In case you feel like having some extra books, you can go for, these are a couple of books by Mr. M.L. Agarwal, R.D. Sharma, or Together with Mathematics, Oswal, Arihant. So many reference books are there. You can refer. Apart from this, we are giving you extra questions during our classroom teaching from various resources and sources. This will be the math lab journal, in which we will be doing around 10 math lab activity as per or in line with the topics which are prescribed by CBSE. And this carries around 20 marks. The internal assessment overall is 20 marks, periodic test and math activity 10 each, and under that 10 we have how a student performs an activity, that is the practical journal, the assessment of the practical or the activity, and a viva. The question paper pattern, small change is there in that, which is applicable till this academic year and the next academic year. 20% MCQ or objective-based question, 40% source-based integrated questions, and 30% short answer or long answer questions. So altogether 80 and internal 20. Makes it altogether 100. So that's all from the academic side. You can go through these websites. They are very important. Apart from our own website, that is iswkoman.com, cbse.gov.in for various resources, cbseacademic.in, and ncrt.nic.in for questions, etc. These are a couple of events where our school participates right from grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. This is organized by Birla World Academy in Mumbai in collaboration with University of Waterloo. Tanmay Shukla, who was one of the winners, he's in grade 12 now. Ayan Khan, extraordinary talented boy with a different level of thinking, was the mathematician of the year judged by University of Waterloo. This is how you think, little extra. Here you have Shan, Aryan, Tanmay, Srijit. They all went to Modern College of Business and Science. It's an yearly event where we participate. There is one examination which is conducted by University of Waterloo. One is CEMC, that is Center for Education, Mathematics and Computing. And there is one Euclid contest. This exam just was conducted on April 5th. This is purely on the child's interest if they wish to go to University of Waterloo. And to inculcate more mathematical insight, there is an event organized by CBSE, that is Aryabhatta Ganit Challenge. Shashwat and Syed Farhan were the winners. The inter-school quiz competitions, where all the Indian schools participate. Now, students, those who brought laurels to Indian School Wadi Kabir in the academic year 21-22, the faces you can see Aishani, who 99.35 percentile in JEE Main, and now she is doing BArch in School of Planning, Delhi. Ashfaq, JEE 99.82 percentile, right now in IIT Chennai. Sayanti, 99.41 percentile, NIT Trichy. They are from 21-22, and in present batch, Gayatri Hari is waiting for her next results to come out. At present, she is 98.9 in BArch and 98.1 percentile in B Planning. Shan, whose result came out yesterday evening, 98.08 percentile. So the advice to all the students, your approach should be serious with writing and thinking skills, regular and judicious practice, attempt all the questions, never leave any question. Thank you so much. Let me invite Ms. Premlata from Physical Education Department.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to one and all. On behalf of PE Department, we welcome you all for the orientation of physical education. Next slide, please. Double click, ma'am. Ma'am, it's not audible. Can you start again, please?
Is it audible?
Not yet, please.
Maybe double click it.
Volume, please. So we come back to the point. Let me take the opportunity to introduce the team members of PE Department. Myself, Premlata Thakur, HOD Physical Education and in charge of table tennis. Mr. Vikas Jhokne, Coordinator Sports Academy and in charge of athletics and skating. Ms. Vanita Shingare, Sports Coordinator. Come back to the point. I think there's a repetition of the music and the dialogues. Ma'am, can you please check? Okay. We'll start with myself, Premlata Thakur, HOD Physical Education and in charge of table tennis. Mr. Vikas Dhopne, Coordinator Sports Academy and in charge of athletics and skatings. Ms. Vanita Shingare, PE Sports Coordinator, Senior School and in charge of volleyball and throwball. And Mr. Shifaz Bawa, PE Coordinator of Primary School and in charge of basketball and handball. The male faculty of Senior and Primary Wing and the game they are specialized in are shown in the slide. The female faculty and their specialization. We were in the fourth slide, ma'am, that is the female faculty of senior and primary wing. Next slide. Yes, now we move on. These are the female faculties and their specialization. Before we proceed, I would like to draw your attention towards the attire and dressing pattern of the students. Boys are expected to turn up in a proper haircut with a clear forehead, gray trouser, short sleeve, white shirts. For girls, short hair should be properly tied in pony, plaiting for the long hair, gray pinafore, short sleeve white shirt with bloomers or black colored tight or leggings. Next, black leather sports shoes with laces and calf length white socks applies to both boys and girls category and can be worn on both school as well as PE uniform. PE uniform is the house color t-shirt with school logo in the front and house name at the back side, along with the black color track pant with house color piping on the sides, calf length white socks, and the leather black sport shoes with the laces. Next, proper haircut pattern for the boys and girls as mentioned in the slide. Sample of the winter wear for boys and girls as shown in the slide. Dear parents, we also look forward to seeing our students following the measures of hygiene, wellness, and safety by following the proper dress code and cleanliness. And for doing so, we expect and look forward for a major support from your side. Coming back to the topic, CBSE has provided PE as an elective subject. Students of class 11 have a choice of taking PE elective as a combination. Let me clarify the difference of the PE classes. The HPE, which is called as Health and Physical Education, is their general PE class, and it is graded under the course scholastic, and it has got 2 lessons per week. Whereas PE elective is a proper theory cum practical subject and comes under academics, and it covers 9 classes per week. In HPE, we start with the planning, though our planning is slightly different from the PE elective, but it is essential because we believe in perfection, which leads to success. The 3 main aspects of our planning are events, activities, and academy. The major and foremost aspect of our planning includes the school games and sports. That under this comes the intramural and the extramural events. Intramurals are the games that takes place in the school like PE classes and inter-house competitions. Next slide, please. Extramural games are the competitions that takes place outside the school like CBSE cluster and the national games. Next slide. Keeping in mind the restrictions of participation in various games and sports, and to provide an opportunity to other equally talented players, time to time, the school participates in various competitions, organizes the open tournaments and other activities for the children. Next, please. The second major aspect of our planning is the activities. Enlisted on the screen are some of them. Next, please. It includes the students' participation in huge numbers with less competition. Our third aspect, and the last one, is to reach out the students is the academy. The specialty of the academy is it's open for the staff and parents also. Now, I would like to call upon Mr. Vikas Chopne to brief on the PE elective subject.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good evening to one and all. So in elective subject, next slide, please, ma'am. These are the following books prescribed for the physical education for theory as well as for the practical. Apart from this, apart from this printed paper book, this is the e-book published by CBSE, which is already uploaded in the school website, as well as in the MCB also. Next, please. The total number of marks allotted for the physical education is 100. Out of that, 70 marks is for the theory and 30 marks is for the practicals, in which this 10 unit is of 30 marks, 70 marks. Next, and third marks for practicals, and the 30 marks is for the practical, which is further divided into 5 subheadings. Next, please. You can see the question paper pattern, which is divided into total A, B, C, D, and E, in which in A section, there is no choice, total 18 questions are there, but in B, C, D, and E, you will get the internal choice, not a question-wise choice. Next, please. Now, here are some points to get maximum marks in physical education, but in this, the main focus has to be taken on the time management, because time management is must to solve the question paper. Next, please. For any query regarding the physical education elective subject, you can contact HOD Physical Education or me through the email or MCB. Now I invite Viranka ma'am to continue the session.
Thank you, Vikas, sir. And a very good evening to everyone. I'm here to share with you the syllabus and orient the students and parents for the subject of sociology. This subject was introduced last year, and I'm very happy to say that from a total number of 6 students that we had last year, we've grown almost 3 times this year. And it's very encouraging and nice to see the diverse interests and reasons why the students have pursued the subject. So let's quickly go through the syllabus. So the objective of sociology, according to the CBSE, is to help learners to reflect on what they hear and see in the course of everyday life. Now, we are all part of society. So naturally, we are thrown constantly problems, challenges, impressions, stereotypes. So how do you make sense out of that in a constructive way, logically, and with a theoretical understanding of the background? And to also equip the learners with the concepts and skills to be able to do this kind of reflection and thinking. The next slide, please. So we have 2 textbooks in grade 11. And over term 1 and term 2, we'll be going through these 2 textbooks. We have a total of about 7 units. And the grade 11 syllabus actually forms the foundation for the grade 12. So, we'll go over the concepts in detail next year, what we learned this year. Now, like every subject, we also have an internal assessment component in sociology. The paper is out of 80 marks, the written paper, and the practical aspect of it is 20 marks, which we consider as the internal assessment. And I've just divided that in term 1 and term 2. So we have an art integration activity. For this term, we have a case study that the students have already been given. They'll have to study it and present it and kind of analyze the situation and the problem. Next term, we'll also look at some social news around the world and try and analyze that. We have one yearly project that the students have to do. So the draft submission of that in the first term carries some marks. And we also have class tests and notebook completion. After each unit, we have that. So that's the internal assessment component. In term 2, we'll also have a sociology symposium where students get to share their research paper, and this will be over grade 11 and 12. And we also have a Viva. So this is the internal assessment component. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just visually all the different things that we'll be doing in grade 11, and some of it is also repeated and different in grade 12. The next slide, please. So each unit, like I mentioned earlier, there are 7 units that we study in sociology through the year. So a lot of emphasis is given to the content in the textbook because it's a new subject. Students don't have a background of this until grade 10. So a lot of emphasis is given on trying to understand these concepts. We also watch related videos, and there are interesting activities that we do. And of course, there's a discussion on question bank and the writing of that. Now, what I try to do through each unit is to have some sort of a class activity or presentation. Also media, through advertisement, newspapers, movies, documentaries, is a reflection of what's going on in society. So I encourage students to bring in examples from that that relate to the concepts that we learn in class. I'm trying to create the question bank in a way that reflects what the CBSE and the NEP, the way they want to structure the whole assessment. So it will have case studies, it will have your source-based questions, and it will give them a good practice, for the exam. The next slide, please. So yes, we come to the end of it. I just wanted to leave all of us on a note that says we're so busy watching out for what's just ahead of us that we don't take time to enjoy where we are. So thank you, everyone, and all the very best to all the students and parents. Over to Roshni ma'am now. Thank you.
Viramka ma'am. Thank you so much. Dear parents, if you have any queries, kindly post in Q&A so we may answer your questions. We hope this orientation session has been informative and helpful for each one of you. I would like to reiterate that the entire ISWK team is there to help your wards. Please reach out to us whenever you require any help. This evening's session would be incomplete without the valuable inputs from our team leader, Mr. D.N. Rao, who is a visionary and doesn't leave any stone unturned to see that our students achieve the best in life. So now I would request Mr. Rao to give the concluding remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Roshni. Dear parents and students and my dear colleagues, very good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. As we already started our new academic year from 5th April, I want to take this opportunity to remind our students about the importance of focusing on their studies, especially in class 11 and 12. We understand that the transition from class 10 to class 11 can be challenging, and students may feel overwhelmed with the new curriculum and increased workload of regular school hours and extra tuitions in certain subjects. However, it is crucial to remember that these 2 years are the most critical for shaping their future. The decisions our students make during these 2 years will determine the course of their academic and professional careers, whether they aspire to pursue engineering or medical or ACCA, CA or BBA or any other career-oriented courses. It is imperative to prepare well for the competitive examinations such as JEE, NEET, ACCA, or any other future skill subjects. Our school provides numerous resources, including experienced faculty, well-equipped laboratories, advanced technological tools, and a conducive learning environment to help our students to achieve their goals. Therefore, I urge all parents to encourage their children to stay focused, motivated, and dedicated towards their studies. Let's work together to instill a love for learning and help our students to unlock their full potential. Before I conclude my message, I would like to share a few important points so that they spend quality time during next 2 years of their school life and on their studies. May I share the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, stay organized. Class 11 can be overwhelming with increased academic workload, extracurricular activities, and personal commitments. It is essential to stay organized and manage your time effectively to balance all these demands. I think there may be, we have exclusively our able team to help you. Few points from my side. Maybe a principal is another counselor here. Read NCERT textbooks thoroughly, because most of the competitive examinations questions are from the NCERT or CBS textbooks, which are comprehensive and cover the entire syllabus. Reading the textbooks thoroughly will help you understand the concepts better and prepare well for the competitive examinations. Practice regularly. Practice is the key to success in CBSE and competitive examinations. Regularly solving sample papers, past papers, and mock tests in completed syllabus, particularly chapters. Some of the students, they postpone this and thinking that maybe after completion of the syllabus, complete all the chapters, we can go for sample papers. So that may not work for all. So this type of regularly practicing will help you to identify your strengths and weaknesses and improve your overall performance. Seek help when needed. So our teachers are ready to help you. So do not hesitate to seek help from your teachers, mentors, or peers if you have doubts or questions. Clarifying your doubts will help you again a better understanding of the subject. Explain the concepts to your friends to master over the subject and improve the confidence to attempt any kind of questions in given syllabus. Stay updated. CBSE syllabus and examination patterns are subject to change constantly. Stay updated with the latest news and changes and plan your studies accordingly. Also stay motivated. Class 11 can be challenging, but do not lose motivation. Set achievable goals, because overnight you can't complete the syllabus. Celebrate your success and learn from your failures. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to grow and learn. Set boundaries. Set specific times for using social media, browsing the internet, and using your mobile phone. For example, limit social media usage to 30 to 45 minutes a day and only use your phone during the specific time. Just at this point of time, let me mention to you, as I mentioned earlier, I have my own profile on Instagram with my profile picture and all, but there is another fake profile which I created to know what actually happening in the school. I see a lot of last 3 days due to the elections and all, a lot of postings are happening on confessions pages in various social media. So I think let's not spend time on posting some dust in that type of social media platforms. So if possible, turn off notifications. Notifications can be distracting and they disrupt your focus. Turn off notifications for social media apps, messaging apps, and other necessary apps. Use productivity apps if possible that help limit your time spent on social media and the internet. For example, apps like Forest and Stay Focused can help you to stay focused by blocking distracting apps and websites. Replace social media with media time with productive activities. Instead of spending time on social media, engage in productive activities such as reading or exercising or pursuing a hobby. Maybe if possible, help your parents, maybe mother at cooking or father work or homework or household work or something, whatever you like it. Keep your phone away during your study time. During the study time, keep your phone away or turn off it to avoid distractions. Thus, frequently, we may be getting notification from our WhatsApp groups and all that distracts our studies. Engage in offline activities. Engage in offline activities such as playing sports. I think our ISWK Academy, after 4 o'clock or after 6 o'clock, they are giving you ample time, maybe after your tuition hours. Spend some time at least, whatever the sports that you like it. And also spending time with your friends and family. Of late, we are now relying or depending upon more of virtual friends rather than the family or even the friends nearby or in the neighboring area, or volunteering to help some other. This will help you to reduce your dependence on the internet and mobile phones. Remember, excessive use of social media and the internet can have the adverse effects on your mental health or even physical health. By setting boundaries and minimizing your time spent on these platforms, you can improve your overall well-being and focus on more productive activities. In conclusion, I wish all our students a successful academic year ahead. Remember, your hard work, determination, and perseverance will be the key to your success. With the best wishes. That is your princess. Any questions? Feel free to ask us.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable inputs. Dear parents, if you have any more questions, we'll take some more questions. Some of the questions have already been answered by JP, sir. So if you have any more queries, kindly feel free to post them in Q&A.
Yeah, I think some of them are asking, can we change the subjects? But already the given time is over. We have given some time to the children to judge or take a decision on that. So we keep on changing the subjects. It may not be possible for the school to, because the moment the last date is over, we usually communicate to the CBSE that this is a list of subjects what the students are choosing. Any other questions? Please post it here. Otherwise, within another 2-3 minutes, we can close the session.
Till then, may I request our activity coordinator, Mrs. Agnes Arana, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Roshni ma'am. Thank you. Thanks is the highest form of thought, and expressing my gratitude to all present here doubles my happiness. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mrs. Agnes Arana, and I feel honored to propose the vote of thanks. First, I would like to thank our principal and vice principal wholeheartedly for arranging, planning, and making this orientation successful. Further, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all parents present here for sparing their valuable time. Next, I would like to thank our teachers, our HODs, and of course, the IT department for their active participation in making this orientation a success. Thank you one and all, and good night.
Thank you so much, ma'am.